What's up, guys? I hope you're doing well. My name is Libby. Welcome to the video. In today's video, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to get eyebrows if you don't have any eyebrows. If you guys want to see how I get eyebrows when I really don't have any, then keep on watching. Let me give you guys a little explanation as to why I don't have eyebrows. When I was younger, I had eyebrows and they were probably fine. And I still do have eyebrows. I mean, I still do have hair there. It's like clear hair. Like you can see through it. Like it doesn't look like I have any eyebrow hair, but I do have it. It's there. So sometimes when I'm plucking my eyebrows, I'm like, you know what? Take a little bit off here, take a little bit off here, and then I'm like, oh no, they're not even. Okay, take some more off here, take some more off here. You know, it's kind of like that meme when you see people trying to do the liquid liner for the wings, and it's like, add a little bit more here, add a little bit more here, and then it's like a huge wing. Well, that's like what happened to me on my eyebrows. I just kept plucking and plucking and plucking until this is what happened. I have kind of figured out 2 kind of different techniques on how to get eyebrows when I really don't have any. If you guys see my videos or like my Instagram posts, I have eyebrows there. So you may be wondering, Libby, how did you get those eyebrows? So I'm gonna show you 2 different styles or 2 different ways that I get them. So I actually am going to be getting my hair done this afternoon. And so the first style that I'm gonna do is going to be with no makeup on, and then I'm going to take that off, and then I'm going to put makeup on and show you kind of like a different way. So for the first way to do this, I'm going to use the ColourPop Bronze Moment. This is ColourPop's brow pomade. You can really use any brow pomade. I'm pretty sure e.l.f. has one for really inexpensively, like $3 or $4. This one wasn't too bad either. I'll put all the links for the products down below, but this one was like less than $10, and I've had it for a while now, and it barely looks like I've made a dent in it. So this is the first type of product that you're gonna need. Again, you don't need to necessarily have the ColourPop one, but any brow pomade will do. My recommendation is get a color that is lighter than what you think. And I did not take my own advice in this, because when I got this, it was before I dyed my hair a little bit lighter, so my hair was a little bit darker, therefore I got too dark of a brow pomade. So yeah, don't do what I did, get a lighter brow pomade. And so with this one, I'm gonna be really light with it because I don't want my eyebrows to be too dark and too blocky. The type of brush that you're gonna want to use is like a really thin, precise one. This brush is from IT Cosmetics, and it's the Smudger Liner Dual-Ended Brush. And I really like this one because the tip of it is like really thin. I'm not really sure if you can tell with that, but I really like using this one for my brow pomades. So what I'll do is just like kind of whatever gross product that is still on this brush, dried and crusty, I like just get it off on my hand. You should maybe clean your brushes. So what I like to do now, if you have a little spoolie, you can run it through your brows, but let's be honest, there's not much brows there to run it through. You know, you do you. Sometimes I do that. Next, you're gonna just like, you're gonna dip in. This is too hard to show you. I'm not gonna show you. I'm just gonna get some product on the brush. I'm just gonna dip into this, and then what I like to do is put it on my hand, and I kind of go like this, like back and forth, so that my brush is nice and coated. What I like to do is start with like the bottom line of my eyebrow, and when I'm doing this, I'm probably not gonna be able to talk, so I'll do the bottom line, and you can kind of just watch what I'm doing, and then I'll explain after. Alright, so you've created your bottom line. I don't know if you guys could really tell, but I was using a really light hand, like barely even pressing on my eyebrow, and I wasn't even really using that much product. Yeah, so there's your little bottom line. I kind of like to sometimes just like use my finger to like fade it out, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, so now to do the top of the brow, I'm really not going to do too much on the tail because I kind of like to have it be a little bit thicker going to a thinner tail. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do angled strokes to kind of mimic like the hair growth if I did have eyebrow hairs. I'll do the same thing again, dip in a little bit, put it on the back of my hand and coat the brush. And then I'm not gonna talk, but I'll tell you what I'm doing after. Alright, so now that that's done, if you guys could kind of tell, I started at the tail and then I kind of just like slowly worked my way in. Actually, I'll put a little bit more on the outside here. Slowly worked my way in using like these small angled brush strokes. And then when I got to the front, the front is tricky because it's really easy to mess up on the front because if you have too heavy of a hand and you go to do the brush strokes, it's going to be like one big, giant, stupid line on your face and it's going to look bad. So you have to do it like very light, like I'm barely touching, like I'm just like grazing my little eyebrow hairs to try to add some definition to them. Yeah, that's basically how I did the top. And then what I like to do is kind of just like look at the overall shape, kind of like what I'm doing here, and I just like very gently go over whatever is left on my brush. Pretty satisfied with that shape. All right, we got the other eyebrow on. This one kind of looks stupid. We're just gonna ignore it for now. And we're gonna move on to the next step. I like to use the brow pomade kind of as like an outline, kind of like if you're doing a paint by number and there are outlines in the drawing, that's kind of what you've created with the brow pomade. Because now we're going to go in with a brow powder. So for this, I'm going to use my favorite, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duo in the oh my god. It is like just all of a sudden, it is like a blizzard outside, out my window. All of a sudden, it's just like a blizzard. Anyway, using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duo, this is in the shade medium brown. I really like these because it's got two tones in there. You can kind of use like the darker shade on the tail and then the lighter shade on the inner part of your eyebrow. So I like that. Any eyebrow powder will do. Again, I'm pretty sure e.l.f. has a really inexpensive high quality brow powder. So if you don't want to spend whatever this is, I think this might be like $18. If you don't want to spend like $18 on this, there are definitely cheaper options. So first I like to dip into the lighter shade, and then what I'm gonna do is start again. I always start on the bottom for some reason. I don't know why, I just like feel most comfortable doing that. I'm gonna like lightly go through and kind of like draw the bottom portion of the eyebrow. And then once I feel like that looks good, I kind of like just bring this product up and all throughout the brows. This also is kind of like setting the brow pomade. It's good to have your brush like at this kind of an angle, you know, because you can really like get those like hair-like strokes that we're all striving for in this process. All right, and I feel like that looks pretty good. All right, you guys, and that is one way how to get eyebrows when you don't have any. So quick summary. This technique involves two products, a brow pomade and a brow powder. For both the brow pomade and the brow powder, you want to make sure that you have some sort of angled brush like this. You don't necessarily have to have two different brushes like what I used, but just know that the brow pomade is going to be like a wetter formula. So if you want to go ahead and dip into the brow powder after, you need to clean that tip off. When you're looking for a brow pomade, get something that is lighter than what you'd usually go for. Use the brow pomade to kind of like outline the general shape of your eyebrows. If you don't really like the shape of your eyebrows once you've done this, you can go in with the spoolie brush to kind of like wipe away or keep shaping what you want. And that's kind of like if you saw me, you know, it's kind of wonky over here. So I went in here and kind of like spooled it down. I don't really know the right adjective for that, but that's kind of a good way to control the brow pomade if you're a little bit all over the place with it. Once you've used the brow pomade, go in with the brow powder. I recommend, again, going with a lighter shade just because you don't want like two giant lines on your forehead for eyebrows. It's just not gonna look good. So if anything, use the darker color only on the tail end of your brow. Today I didn't, but sometimes I do. And that's pretty much a summary of the technique on how to get eyebrows like this. I'll show you guys how I do my eyebrows when I have like just every day going outside, going to the grocery store, going to class, whatever you're doing kind of brows. All right, you guys, so for face makeup, I didn't want to wear foundation today. I only wore concealer on my face. I have on the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous Concealer. And then I also used the Rimmel London Lasting Breathable 25-Hour Lightweight Medium Coverage Concealer in the shade Light Ivory. And then I used the Hoola Benefit Bronzer. This is like my go-to bronzer. I love this bronzer. You know, just bronzed up my face, did a little bit on the nose. And then I went in with the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush in the shade Pearlescent Pink. I went crazy with the blush as I usually do. I put it on my cheeks, but I also put it on my nose and my forehead and my chin and even on my neck. I went in with the Hoola bronzer again, actually, and I used it as an eyeshadow. I learned this from watching Summer McKeen on YouTube, and I just love putting it on my eyelids when I don't want to keep them bare. And then I used the CoverGirl Perfect Point Plus in the shade 210 Espresso. And then I curled my eyelashes and I went in with the CoverGirl Peacock Flare Mascara in the shade Black. This is a really good, affordable mascara. It's a little bit clumpy, but it works. So now this is what you guys have all been waiting for. I'm sure you came to the video just to see how I do my eyebrows on an everyday basis when I'm not doing like makeup videos or trying to do makeup for an Instagram post, and I'm just living my best life. So again, I use 2 products. You don't need to use these specific 2 products. You can use whatever you want. I like to use a lighter shade in an eyebrow pencil as well as a darker shade. What I do is I start with the lighter shade. This is the, what is this? This is the Rimmel London Born This Way Fill and Sculpt Eyebrow Definer, and this is in the shade 001 Blonde. I don't really know how I feel about this. I just tried it, or I just got it the other day from Walmart because I needed an eyebrow pencil, and this was one of the cheapest ones I could find because we're trying to ball on a budget. I think it's the perfect shade, but the applicator is a little weird. It's really thick and kind of a triangle. But that's not what this video is about. So even though the tip shape is really weird, I do like this little spoolie it comes with, and then that also has a little crayon thing on the other side. That's awesome. So what I do is I start with the lighter shade, and kind of the same deal with the brow pomade. You know, earlier when we were doing that other technique, I like to use the lighter shade to kind of like outline how I want my brows. So again, I'm going to do the bottom portion first, and I'm not going to talk to you guys, but I'll let you know what I did after. Alright, so I kind of totally forgot that I was filming a YouTube video and forgot to tell you guys what I was doing. Basically, it's like the same thing, guys. It's the same thing as what we were doing before. You start on the bottom and you're touching your face, right? You're barely doing the brush strokes or whatever you want to call this little motion. Barely touching your face. You're dispensing very little product. You're not trying to go ham on this quite yet. You just want like a shadow, a suggestion of a brow, a hint that maybe one day back in the day it was there. So that's basically the vibe we're trying to go for in this step. Yeah, I did the other eyebrow off camera. I also did the top. I apologize. I forgot, like I said, I forgot I was filming. Yeah, so we went in with the bottom, right? And then we went in with the top. The same, guys, this is the same thing. It's the same technique. You go in, you start at the tail, and you kind of like do your brush strokes on this angle, right? And you're barely touching your face. And you kind of just make the brow. Just let the brow naturally happen. If you're confused on what shape to do, just like follow your bone structure of your, like literally your eye. Just follow that structure on your face, you know? And when you feel like maybe you should start dipping and do the tail, dip and do the tail. And then, you know, start at the bottom, kind of go up, and then just, you know, connect it with the beginning of your brow. This does take practice. It does take time. The first time you do this, it's going to look stupid. It's going to look terrible. It's going to look bad.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just...
It looked really bad when I did this the first time, especially when you don't have eyebrows. You're like, how am I supposed to do this? Because you don't know where you're supposed to put the product and how you're supposed to do it. So that's the first step, guys. That's the first step. And I kind of just go back and forth between the two, here and there, dibbly dabbling on, yeah, until I'm kind of happy with it. Then I do like this product because it's got a spoolie on the other end, and you kind of just, you know, go through them, make them look all even and stuff, and that is that. So next, guys, this is where the darker eyebrow pencil comes into play. Now with this, we are going to try to focus this mainly on the tail of the brow and just like maybe suggest it in the front, if that's how you want to say it. This is the ColourPop Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Cool Cocoa. Again, I like this because it's got a spoolie on one end and then the product on the other. This style of pencil, because I know that ColourPop has two like eyebrow pencil things, I really like it because it's just the bittiest baby tip that you could ever want in an eyebrow pencil. So it's great for precision. I guess that's why they called it the Precision Brow Pencil. But okay, so what we're gonna do with this is we're gonna focus first on the outer portion by the tail, and then we're gonna bring it a little bit up, only like halfway though. You don't wanna go crazy. Then once you're halfway, use the spoolie, kind of blend the two ends together, I guess. And then we're gonna go on the front and we're gonna just do little tiny, a couple baby hairs. So I'm gonna do it and then I'm gonna come back and talk to you guys. Alright, you guys, and these are the finished brows. Let's do a quick summary of how we did that technique. So we started with two products. One was a lighter shade eyebrow pencil and one was a darker shade. We first went in with the lighter shade and we outlined, or whatever you want to call it, the brow, kind of, you know, put where we think the brow should go. We cleaned it up with the spoolie, went back in, you know, back and forth until we were really happy with the shape. Then we went in with the darker eyebrow pencil, and for this, we really focused it on the outer portion of the eyebrow, really close to the tail, kind of stopped halfway and then blended it in. And then in the front, we did little baby hair strokes. And again, we used the spoolie to blend it all together. This is a style, or this is the technique that I use for my brows when I'm, you know, just every day, willy-nilly in it, just living my life. I really do think this is the best way that I can get my brows to look somewhat natural. Again, could I be using better products? Sure. Do I have $1 million? No. Could I be using better products that probably would make my eyebrows look even better? Yeah, probably. So this is what we're working with, guys. I really hope this video helped you. If you don't have any eyebrows, don't feel discouraged. Like, you can still get them. Do know it is gonna add about 5 minutes to your makeup routine. Like, no matter how fast you can do it, just because you want them, you know, it's something that if your eyebrows look weird, you know, it's just something about it that makes you feel self-conscious, and you want to go out living your best life, feeling really good about how you look. So it's just something that you want to spend a little bit extra time on. So yeah, this is like what I do, you guys. Is it going to change in 3 weeks? Yeah, probably. I'm always changing up how I do my makeup. Even like this makeup look, I mean, 6 months ago, if you watch a video on my channel that says everyday makeup routine, it's probably completely different than what I did. So yeah, I hope you guys can take some tips, or like at least I hope you learned something from this video. If you didn't, you made it this far, you might as well subscribe to my channel. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I am on Instagram and Twitter. I'll leave the handles right down here on the screen. My username for both Instagram and Twitter is Libby Brooks with 4 S's at the end. So make sure you follow me there. And thank you guys so much for joining me for today's video. I will see you next week. A lighter eyebrow? What? For the millionth fucking trillionth time. I'm throwing this all over the place.